One night I'm having a party and invite the guy whose room is touching mine. He comes out, has a good time, and goes to bed. We begin to hang out constantly, and then he tells me he was extremely depressed before we met. He said he was going to off himself about a week before I asked him to party. He said he had a note and everything. He hugged me and began to cry, saying I saved his life. Eventually, we both moved out and then lost touch with each other, but I see him around sometimes. Story 61. I was skateboarding home from my university 2 years ago, and I thought I saw a woman struggling to push her car into a parking lot. Thought it had died on her. Had a small internal conflict whether to help or not. Decided to stop and ask if she needed help. Turns out she was choking. 7 seconds later, I saved her life. Story 62. I was on work placement in an ER. I'm a fourth-year medical student. A patient came in complaining of chest pain. While myself and one of the doctors were talking to her, she had a cardiac arrest. The doctor hadn't noticed as he was filling out her chart. I shouted at him and hit the emergency alarm. She came back after about 15 minutes of CPR and 2 defibrillations. I was told afterwards by the 2 nurses and the attending supervising me that if it wasn't for me, that patient was dead. Story 63. I did the Heimlich on my 3-year-old cousin when I was babysitting. I was peeling an orange for her and her siblings, and when I wasn't looking, she rolled the peel up into a ball and tried swallowing it. She started slamming her hand on the table and jumping, and I panicked and slapped her back at first, but then I came to my senses, actually did the Heimlich. I was crap scared. She was all fine after, but I was like shaking. Story 64. Not me, but one of my recruiter's buddies, let's call him B, for the Marines, told us a story of a died attack on an Afghanistan government building. It killed 30-something Afghani men and 2 Marines. It also wounded a crap ton more. He then proceeded to pull them out one by one. B had help, but very little, up a hill 100 yards for their evac. This act of heroism completely ducked up his knee to the point where he got sent home from his second deployment with a Purple Heart. B is currently back in Afghanistan serving his third deployment. Guy saved about 40 lives, completely ruining his knee for life. Still goes back to Afghanistan. Story 65. I was driving down an exit ramp that ended with a right turn lane, or cars could merge left to go straight. There was a black Escalade parked in the exit turn lane with its emergency flashers on, so people were merging left to get around him. Traffic was light, so people were at 45,